we're good.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Also excited to be your character.
Come on, a boat.
The northern docks of Waterdeep. It's alive with activity for the morning. The sounds of seagulls crying for food and the lapping waves against the pier's supports are music to a mariner's ears. The distinct smells of seawater, tar, and fish hang in the air. Diverse shipping vessels are docked at the northern pier, either waiting to leave port or just arrived. And on this sunny morning, a group of potential sailors have gathered at the base of a ship's ramp, looking for potential work. Corazon, you find yourself at the base of a wooden ramp connecting to a ship you've called home for numerous years, the Sea Ferret. And Corazon, can you please describe to everyone what you look like?
So, Corazon is wearing a gray jacket with red trimming. Everything matches. He has a nice cut hair with a nice ponytail on the top. He has one rapier and a dull dagger in the other hand that he uses to parry things.
Oh, very nice.
Corazon, while on the dock, you drag a small wooden crate next to a larger one, and you use that as a chair. As you sit at this larger crate and you make a makeshift desk out of this, you place the manifest of the Sea Ferret on top of this large crate, and then a jar of squid ink and a large feather, and you place it next to the manifest. As you look up, before you is the potential mariners, and they were waiting to be interviewed for a commission aboard the Sea Ferret on your next voyage. And as you prepare to interview these potential candidates, Corazon, you hear the sounds of boots clanking down the ramp from the Sea Ferret. Turning, you see a smiling Captain Thip Farseeker approaching you, eating a bright red apple. Barnacle! You slick dog! You're bright and early! What do we got going on? And he takes a bite out of this apple. Now, before we go, Captain Farseeker, he's probably in his early 40s, late 30s, athletic build. He always wears his traditional black vest. Sometimes he wears a white t-shirt underneath it. He has hair that's brown with gray on the sides, and it's up in a ponytail. Very charismatic, and he's been a captain for quite some time, as Corazon was his second mate since Corazon was a child. So what do we got going on this morning there, Barnacle? Takes another bite.
Well, Capitan, we have some recruiting today that you told me to do this morning. Do you not remember?
Okay, he looks over and there's a whole line of people. Some of them look seaworthy, some not. All of them have duffel bags and they're waiting to be interviewed. He looks over and he squints his eyes at this long trail of people, about maybe 7 or 8. Takes him a bite of the apple. I don't remember. Hey, Barnacle, after last night with these 2 women, granted, they were a little on the hefty side. Granted, they're not at the standards of myself. But my father always says, Barnacle, and he puts his hand on your shoulder, 2 5s make a 10. He takes another bite out of the apple and he adjusts his pants, typical Farseeker manner. He goes,
Oh, man.
he says to you, it's a little turnout than I expected, my little buddy, but you know what? Business is business. Oh, on this line, I want you to look for 2 people, a man and a woman. They're probably siblings, and they have a special artifact on them that's of great importance to me. So if you come across 2 people, and they mention having something from Hagen, it's an egg. Ask to see the egg. And if they show this egg, they are coming aboard regardless. I don't care if they smell of alcohol, if they have a tray of drugs, or dragging a dead prostitute from the town. Let them aboard.
I come.
Okay, he looks back. Some women. It is what it is. He goes to turn around. He goes, oh, one last thing, Barnacle. These recruits are important, but the safety of our mother, and he gestures back towards the ship, is paramount, which you're aware of.
Oh yeah, I am completely aware of it.
So, Barnacle, if you let on board anyone that is substandard, how do I say this politely, friend? it's gonna be your ass.
It's understandable, Captain. Just leave it to me. No worries.
He turns around and starts walking up the ramp, and he stops and he looks back down at you again. Just one last thing. After this next mission, I'm probably gonna fire you, so don't expect to be here long. And this is something he's been saying to you for the past 15 years.
I'm looking forward to it, Captain.
Very well. Only the best there, Barnacle. I gotta go see what the other crewmates are doing. And he turns and goes on this ship. Now, on the crew, there's also 4 other crewmates, which you know pretty well, that stay behind. Farseeker, he's renowned for hiring people for a mission. And after the mission, he doesn't tell them to stay. He gives them the option to stay or go. And the 4 crewmates that are on, and a cook named Ivan, have stayed behind. So they're getting this vessel ready for the next voyage out. So, with that said, standing before you is a whole bunch of individuals. You look at all of them, and in the front of the line, you see a wealthy young man with red hair wearing very expensive clothing. Next to him are 2 men that look almost Middle Eastern, with vests and no shirts and turbans, and they're carrying all these expensive-looking bags of luggage. This man stands at the front, younger guy, probably in his late 20s, red hair, and he sort of smiles at you, waiting to be called up forward.
Come forward, please.
He walks forward, he goes, and the 2 servants walk up right next to him, and they hold the bags, and he looks at you. Good morning, is this the ship?
Is this what ship?
The ship for work. I'm sorry, my name is Xander Silvermane.
What are these 2 with you?
Oh, don't mind them, these are my manservants, they take care of me. I heard you're hiring for a crew.
Yes. Do you have any experience with boats?
Oh, I have lots of experience. When I was a child, my father would routinely buy me these little boats and I'd put the models together. So I know how to work all sorts of boats. Not this big, but I'm pretty sure it's easy. I mean, look what you do. And look what those men on those, what are those things called at the top where they're sitting?
There's the crow's nest.
The crow's nest, sure. So it's easy to figure out. So when do I get hired and when do you let me aboard? I have lots of coin.
Are you wanted for any crimes?
He sort of looks at you and snarls. Wanted for any crimes? What kind of question is that?
It's a standard procedure, right?
No, of course not. Just let me aboard. I'm fine. Look at me. Oh, but I have a request. If I come aboard, I don't do work during the sunlight hours. And I don't work at night. That's time for drinking. And I do need a long lunch. And more importantly, if I'm sleeping and I don't want to be disturbed. But my manservants will be there, and you can put them to work.
We will call you. No.
Okay. Let's make a charisma roll for a second.
We will.
My people call you.
We'll call you. Just straight charisma?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
16.
Okay, very good, very good. My coin is good. I expect you back, what, in a day or 2?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, great. I'll be back out here, and we're looking forward to work with you. Manservants! And the 2 gentlemen carrying the bags roll their eyes with disgust. And you see why. And Xander Silvermane walks away. Behind him is another large figure. This person has no shirt. He has a red bandana on his head, very tan skin, multiple faded tattoos, a long mustache that's down with braids. He has a nasty-looking curved knife and a filthy-looking duffel bag, and he drops it to the ground. Aye, me hearty. Is this be the beach that's going to take me out to sea? Pointing to the boat.
The what now?
The beach, the sea beach that I'll be riding.
Oh, okay. First off, you're approaching this all wrong. You want the job, you don't come here and insult my mother.
I'm not insulting the bitch. That is what Thorn the Lucky calls boats at sea.
She is no bitch. She is a mother.
Who are you to tell Dawn? I was sailing the seas when you were just a little egg in your father's balls. You bilge rat. I bet you don't know anything about piracy or silverwork.
Have you ever sailed on a ship?
He looks at you and squints his eyes. Make a charisma roll. 5. He takes his dagger out, spins it around between his fingers, and with his other hand slams it on the table with his fingers spread apart. Do I know work? And he starts real fast with the knife between all his fingers. He stops, flips it around, holds the blade, and he holds it out to you. Let's see what the pump can do, bilge rat. And you see the other people in line sort of watching with interest. Now, you've done this game before many a times, and if you choose to do it, I'll give you advantage. But if you fuck it up, you've got a whole bunch of people watching.
Come see me after. I'm working now. I hand him the plate.
He grabs it. So, are you saying I can't be aboard this bitch of a sea vessel?
Well, seeing as you are she is the Farsi. Do you know how to say that?
The Far Seeker, it says Seafarer on the side. He sort of looks at you, and then he looks back at the people behind him. He says, "You're like the rest of these bilge rats. You don't know what the hell you're talking about." He grabs his duffel bag. "I have better things to do."
I was testing you. I'll talk to you later.
Ah! And Dorn the Lucky goes away. You're getting frustrated because right now pickings are slim and it's not working out for you.
0 for 2.
So you hear as you open up your manifest, you hear the sound of a duffel bag hit the ground, and you look up, and before you is a beautiful woman. She happens to be dressed in appropriate mariner outfit. She looks over at you, and she stares, and your eyes meet. Mia, you're wearing different clothing than normal. In your left hand, you put down a duffel bag, and in your right hand, you have some references. You guys see each other.
My. What brings you here, miss?
Hello, Mr.
Corazon.
Corazon. I am me, Ava. And I would like to point your ship.
Well, me, Eva. Do you have any experience on ships?
I do, actually.
You do?
Yes.
From where?
She goes into a detail. She starts naming all these different ships and vessels, and you're actually a little taken back. You're not showing her how impressed you are, but she's just blurting stuff out. And she's going on and on with this.
I think I'm pretty qualified.
Okay.
She also has you see in her hand, she has a pamphlet, and to you, you think it may be references.
What is that in your hand?
Just a couple references that might help you decide.
May I see them?
Sure.
Upon taking these references from her and opening it up, there are numerous very successful businesses that she's been a part of, and all of these are all naval missions. Obviously, when she was probably really young, so he goes back several years to the present. So she's been busy, and she's getting glowing reviews from all these captains of all these vessels.
Interesante. So, Miss Mia, Eva.
Ava's good.
Eva's good?
Yes.
Okay. That was the pain to say all the time. Where is, do you know where the bow of the ship is?
I do. That way.
Now, where do you point on the ship?
The
Front.
front.
And she does.
To my left.
Yes, to her left.
Excellent. And so you'll be alone on a ship full of men for months on end. Can you handle yourself?
Well, I am 6 feet tall, pretty built,
That you are.
so I think I can handle my own.
Okay.
You make the decision if you want to ask more questions or.
Are you wanted for any crimes?
I'm not.
No.
No.
Okay. And what are your skill sets? The trade skills or anything like that?
I'm actually more of a healer, so, you know, if someone were to get sick,
A healer.
I would be proficient in that regard.
And at this juncture, you're like, shit, this bitch is more qualified. I mean, she's like blowing your mind as far as a female having this much experience and almost rivals yours.
You know, having somebody as skilled as you might compromise my position. However, I do like a little competition. So, do I have those? No. However, you may board the ship. Welcome to the seaplane.
Thank you, Corazon.
You grab your bag, you go up, and you see Corazon starts jotting your name down in a manifest. In doing so, a next subject steps forward. This person sort of staggers, and it's a man. He looks older, probably in his 50s, balding head, very thin. His shirt is all soiled. He has a large duffel bag with flies buzzing around it, and it's stained. And he drops it down. Good morning, Governor! And he can barely stand. And there's a smell of decayed flesh coming from that bag. I need a ship to take me out of town. May I come aboard? And he's sort of swaying.
What is your name? Let's start easy.
He looks at you. My name is Matthias. And the smell of alcohol and vomit almost knocks you over.
Well, Matthias, have you any experience on ships?
He looks and he squints his eyes. None.
None.
None. And his breath is really kicking you.
Do you have any skills or trade?
He sort of grabs the duffel bag tightly, and he sort of looks around with shifty eyes, sort of drunk. I have skills.
What's in the bag?
He pulls it closer to him. None of your business.
Well, then, the business here is over with.
He scowls with his eyes, and he grabs the bag and he starts turning as a trail of flies follows this bag off into the distance, and he leaves. As you try to compose yourself and catch your breath, you get approached by a man and a woman. Both they don't look seaworthy, and they step forward. It is both Nix and Kuru. As you both step up to a man with an outfit looking at him, and you see the seafarer. This is a boat you have to be on, and because you have an item that belongs to the captain.
Sir, I take it you're here doing the recruits?
Of course. And your name?
Kiryu Dugre.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Kiryu Dugre.
Kiryu
Dugre.
Dugre.
Yes.
Pleasure.
And you are?
I'm Corazon. Corazon de Aire.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And you, miss?
I'm Nix. How's it going?
Is going very well. Are you two married?
Oh, no. Sisters.
Sisters.
Sister? Girl?
Yes. Secretly. No, I'm a fucking man.
I don't know this days. Whatever they want from us.
Well, I guess so. Judging from the last guy that you interviewed.
Yeah. Why should I let you on board?
Well, let me guess. You're working with someone with a Far Seeker?
Speak of louder.
I think we have a little something for your boss.
But it's gonna cost you.
Show me, and then we will talk price.
Why don't you tell us the price first, and then we'll show you.
Oh no.
Now you were given direct orders as well, as far as letting people on that have a particular item or not. But you need to see it first.
I need to see it first before we speak price.
Are you just gonna show it in front of like everybody in line?
And he already took it out, and you
Okay.
see holding in his hand
Yes, he
this
is.
green emerald round sphere, about the size of a cue ball.
May I see that?
No,
It's right here.
I don't think it's ready for that yet.
But you notice it, and inside the cue ball, you ought to almost cringe as you see what appears to be some type of baby sea monster frozen in time. And that is the item that Farseeker says you actually need to let these people aboard.
My.
So, how much is that worth to you?
So,
Look,
I think we have our ticket in, don't we?
yes. If you right this way, if you go up here, Captain Farseeker will see you.
I'm gonna like grab his cloak thing and be like, so what do we get if we come on board? Why is it worth anything to us?
That is a good point. I mean, do you want to leave this place?
Do you want the item? How badly do you want us aboard?
Take it up with the captain.
You can take it up with the captain when you get up there.
Alright, I guess we'll have a chat.
Sounds good. Have a chat with him.
Take it anytime.
All right.
Chick. I like the chick.
And finally, as the line of candidates dwindles down, there is one more person left. By his appearance, he appears to be a seasoned sailor, wearing all the proper attire you, Corazon, will be looking for in regards to a candidate. The man stands several feet away from you, but before he approaches you, he seems to be speaking to two individuals on the dock. An aristocrat-looking male in his 30s wearing red sunglasses, and a beautiful young woman with olive skin and long, wavy black hair. Cassidy, before you step forward, you stand at the dock with the only two people you've met and got close to since you left the Lost Hope. One is Dr. Rudolph Van Richten. He's an associate you've met who teaches at Waterdeep University. But what makes him really important is that he introduced you to the woman who is now holding your hand, Esmeralda. She's the most beautiful woman you've met. You've seen women in the past and had many of them in your bed. But Esmeralda, she's different. She's captured your heart, unlike any other woman on this planet. She steps in front of you before you go on the vessel, and she stares at you into your eyes, and she gives you a confident smile. Her warm hand gently places on the side of your unshaven cheek. My love, I know you're apprehensive about going, but you need to go, for there is something you must know. And with her other hand, she gently grabs your arm, your hand, and places it on her firm stomach. I am with child. Those words make every hair on your body just stand up. And you never thought in all your life you would be a father. Her hand lets go of yours, and she grabs both of your cheeks, and she says, it is going to be a boy. Her eyes welled up, and you look into her eyes, and at that moment, you're not on a dock. You're not with other people. It's just you and her have become one. She smiles at you. This is why you must go. Poseidon, but I'll be waiting. You will go, earn the money, and do what you love. For when you come back, you will have a son, and I will proudly call him Poseidon Jr. She reaches up and she takes one of her earrings off. She goes over to you, removes one of your cheaper earrings, and she switches them out. So now you both have the same two earrings.
They're cheaper earrings.
So you both have similar earrings.
Yeah.
Cheap date.
You will be safe, as I must go back to my home world, my homeland of Barovia. I need to get the approval of my family before you and I can join in union. But if they say no, I will come back regardless and disown them. She steps even closer to you. Her soft lips gently touch yours. And again, nothing is happening around you. It's just you and her. Until you hear, Dr. Van Richten catches your attention. Cassidy?
Oh, Rudolph, I'm sorry. I forgot you were there for a moment.
No worrying, chap. Listen, she will be fine. I will look after her, and I'll make sure when she comes back from Barovia, she'll be taken care of as we will wait for you. And your child should be born, hopefully, way after you return. Before you go, I have something for you. He reaches inside this trench coat and he pulls out a small vial. It's a glass with a white sparkling liquid on it. He holds it out and he gives it to you. The top is a cork and there's a holy symbol of the morning glory burned into the top of it. I doubt you'll need this at sea, but this is holy water. In my studies, there are lots of things unnatural, and just in case, this may come in handy. And he hands it to you.
Okay, I'll take it from him. I'm gonna kind of look at it, put it against the sun.
And it looks like water, but it sparkles, and it's almost in a godlike manner.
As I continue looking at it, I kind of shift my attention over to Rudolph, and I kind of put my head so he can step aside with me for a moment.
And he goes, my dear, we'll be right back. Meaning Olivia. And Olivia, not Olivia, Esmeralda.
Yeah.
And Olivia's like, hey, Esmeralda. And she sort of steps to the side, and then he looks at you. He goes in, yes?
Yeah, so I put my hand on his shirt, it's on his shoulder.
Yeah.
I was like, listen, if anything happens to me, please take care of my child. Make sure it's safe.
And he places his hand on top of your hand, and he smiles with a friendly smile that warms your heart. I have every reason to, but no worries. You're going to be back to see this child grow up. But you have my word. I will make sure this child is protected, and in fact, if for some crazy reason you don't return, I know others like you that can raise your son the right way with Esmeralda.
Please do. Make sure that she's safe as well.
I will. Now he reaches and he grabs a little clock that he has on a string, pops it open, he looks at it, and he goes, well, I have business to attend to, and he slams it closed. As a young boy says he's seen a woman turn into a bat. I definitely need to go speak with that child. So I will leave you two to say goodbye. And he sort of steps back. You see Esmeralda standing, looking at you.
My love, I hate to leave you now, but if it is your wish, then I'll go.
And her last words to you, as she stares deeply in your eyes and she steps right up to you, where her chest is against yours and both your hearts are beating in unison. She says to you, "Know this, Cassidy. My love for you is deeper than any ocean in existence." She goes up on her tippy toes, she puts her arms around you and gives you the most passionate kiss you've ever had. You see this going on and you're watching it. You're used to just betting women, and love is something that you've never really experienced, and you almost feel a sense of, not jealousy, but you're almost like, wow, this guy could find love, maybe I'll have a chance. So, Esmeralda lets go of your hand, she walks over and she stands next to Van Richten. Van Richten does one of these to you.
I'm gonna kind of salute him back.
They turn to walk away. Esmeralda takes a long pause, looking over her shoulder. As she walks by, of course, other men on the dock looking at her because she's gorgeous. And she fades into the crowd and disappears with Van Richten. You look up ahead at the dock and you see a frustrated sailor, a mariner, sitting there looking at you with his eyes sort of like, not in an angered look, but sort of almost impressed. You both see each other.
Good day.
Hello there.
Did you come to join the crew?
See, there's an opening. I have a reason now to seek work, so.
You look seaworthy, but are you prepared to leave behind such a beautiful woman for several months?
I have a reason now. Unfortunately, I will have to leave her, but I have a reason to go. But I will make it back. I do have one question, though.
Yes.
Has this ship ever seen Ignacio the Black?
Now, when he says that name, right now, fear goes inside you and anger. For Ignacio the Black is the ideal deadly pirate. Even at your time on Turcotte Island, whenever Ignacio and his men shown up, all the different races of pirates all would stay quiet because they know how dangerous Ignacio is. You seldomly speak his name, and you seldomly mention it to Farseeker because Farseeker has his own opinions as well.
Heard of him. I'm not too fond. Captain is not too.
I figure I should be honest and upfront. What I see as moving on, Ignacio sees as mutiny. And I have somewhat of a bounty on my head.
Bounty?
Yes.
That is very unfortunate. But we might be able to use you.
Now, you secretly know that a lot of things you do is smuggling, which is very illegal, but you also, on occasion, Farseeker loves to hunt down other pirates, and Ignacio would be the dream.
We might be able to use you for a few errands here and there.
As long as you know that while I'm on your ship, all of your lives are in danger, then I'll join.
Our lives are always in danger. Don't worry about that. You let me handle that.
Alright?
I have a question for you. The ferret here, she is our mother. Are you willing to give your life to protect her, her crew, and her cargo?
Well, I have a reason to come back, and if keeping the mother alive here is in that best interest, then yes, I will.
And your name?
My name is Cassidy
Cassidy
de Leon.
de Leon, Corazon de Ayer. Welcome to the seafarer. I shake his hand.
Return and shake it.
You get ready. All right, for the rest of you,
He gave me a reason to come. So,
after Corazon does his interviews and he picks his crew, each of you now stand on the main deck of the Seafarer. It's a modest-sized shipping vessel made of strong oak, steel rivets, and nylon sails. Squinting upward toward the morning sun, you see the silhouettes of two crewmen atop the main and fore masts. The main mast is usually at the back of the ship, the smaller is to the front, which is the fore. Both of these crewmen pause. If you guys can put your guys all in the middle of the boat, except for the barbarian.
He's in a bed.
Could you grab me?
Oh yes, let's not forget our first mate.
Both the crewmen that are up on these masts, they pause, they work, and they curiously peer down at Corazone's choices. On the main deck of this large shipping ship, a big man carrying a crate full of oranges, breads, and beets. He's bald and he has a huge curled mustache and he wears an apron. He carries this crate and he walks past all of you and he looks, "You'll better like Ivan's food." And he scurries back and he goes into a cabin. You notice that as you're up here on the ship, it is actually well maintained. Farseeker and his crew make sure of it. In fact, you see absolutely no seagull droppings. There are lots of crates, enough where people can probably hide, stacked up together on this main deck. As you take in the sights of your new aquatic home, you inhale the smells of seawater, tar, and gunpowder. For on this ship are 4 beautifully cleaned and precious-looking cannons. At the stern of the ship, which is the back, leaning against the steering column the helm, is Captain Farseeker. He's reviewing a large map with another crew member. The crew member sort of sees you and taps Farseeker on the shoulder, sort of gesturing towards you all. With a broad smile like a proud father, Captain Farseeker approaches the helm and peers down at each of you. Well, what do we got here, Corazon? Is these the new crewmates?
This is the new crew, Captain.
And his eyes are scanning all of you except you. He says, "Well, I mean, you'll have to do. Do you have names?" And he looks over at you.
Kiryu Dugray.
What?
Kiryu Dugray.
Corazon, what the hell is he saying?
I don't know, Captain.
As long as they're on my ship, your name is going to be Mouse, because you speak like a mouse.
Yes, Captain.
Oh, I like this man. Mouse, you're doing pretty well already. His eyes glance over towards you, Nix. Young lady, what do you go by?
I go by Nix, Captain.
And not to be personal, young lady, but what's your relationship with Mouse?
He's my brother, unfortunately.
I see. I had one of those a long time ago. He died of measles. But you'll be okay here, Mouse. We'll take care of you.
Thank you, Captain.
He glances over towards you. He looks at you. You look seagoing. What's your name, young man?
My name's Cassidy de Leon.
He looks up, your clothes up and down. I've seen people with this type of get-up before. His hands go across his unshaven face, and you all see that he has multiple scars that have healed over time. He squints his eyes, and he looks over at you. He looks back at you, and he looks at you, and he goes, "We need to talk." And he has a sort of smile about his face. And then his eyes fall upon you. "Well, young lady, you seem to be dressed the part, and you look like you may know what you're doing. What's your name?"
Hi, Captain. My name is Ava.
"Ava. Are you from Waterdeep?"
Yes.
"Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am the captain of this ship. I am Captain Farseeker. Welcome aboard. Before we start, I need to go over a few things." And at that moment, you hear 2 of the crew member at the front of the ship, the bow, yell out, "Captain, we have a stowaway!" And immediately, Captain Farseeker reaches down and he pulls out this nasty-looking flintlock. And he squints his eyes. You hear this, and instinctively, you draw a sword out. And you guys turn at the back of the ship. You see a large man with no shirt. His hands are up in the air. And 2 crewmen have shiny rapiers at his throat.
Oh.
After hiding aboard this ship in the crates, Conrad, they happen to find you. You easily could probably take these men on. But right now, at this point, you don't want a promotion or a fight. The captain sees you in the distance. "Judging by the freakish size of that man, I don't think those little toothpicks will do him any damage. Please, gentlemen, don't insult the stowaway." The two crewmen, aye, Captain! In unison, they seep their weapons. You sheath it? Farseeker takes his flintlock and puts it in the belt of his pants. Come over here, my large, abnormally large friend. Step forward. Put your guy there now. Now you see this massive gentleman coming out. Battle axe. He has some dried blood on his back from some type of recent injury. And he walks through all of you with confidence and a stride that's pretty impressive. You walk up to the helm, and you see at the railing of the helm is Captain Farseeker, another crew member. Farseeker looks down at you. Am I going to call you Stowaway? Do you have a name, my freakish friend?
Name's Conrad.
Conrad, what the hell are you doing on my ship? Didn't you interview with Barnacle? And he gestures towards Corazon.
Barnacle? No interview here, sir.
So, my experience is people that stow away have a reason to stow away. Why are you on my ship?
Well, I was at the Seagull, and a fight happened, and I got punched, and I took off running. I went to the water, because it's what I know. I found some crates, and I started hiding.
Whoa! Somebody at your freakish size was hiding?
Yes, sir.
Why?
I'm rather down on my luck lately.
Well, obviously you're a stowaway. Continue there, Conrad.
Next thing you know, your crane over there, which is quite strong, it scooped me up. And now I'm on your boat.
Okay,
You tell me what I'm doing here.
now you do hear laughter coming from all the crew, and they're trying to be quiet about it, but it's obvious. You can hear the giggling. Even the two men at the top of the crow's nest are sort of giggling and laughing. Farseeker smiles and he looks at everyone enjoying this time. You know, most captains order their stowaways killed, but somebody at your size and your physique, we could use a brute. Hey, Barnacle,
Yes, Captain.
do we have any brutes aboard this ship?
As far as I know, no.
So we don't have any brutes. Barnacle, do you think we need a brute?
Sure, why not? He could do a lot of the muscle.
He has a lot of muscle. Conrad, I tell you what, my friend, since you're hiding, I have a proposition for you.
I'm all ears.
You come with us, we'll get you some coin and where you want to go. But you have to do your share on the ship.
Seems like the best option I've had since I've gotten here.
He smiles. Okay, Conrad, welcome to the Sea Ferret. Now, for all of you and Conrad, there are several rules I need to go over with you before we take off into the Great Harbor. First, the ship itself is the Sea Ferret. The Sea Ferret is our mother. We need to take care of the mother, for she will take care of us.
Did you say mother?
Yes, the brute.
He's probably not that smart.
Unlike most commissions you've been on, he says, I'm unlike other captains of other ships. I am, and Barnacle can vouch for this, I'm fair with coin. Whatever money we make at the end of this export commission, everybody gets equal share. If we happen to find any treasure that falls into our laps, everybody gets equal share. And when we come back to port, any taxes that we have to pay, I'll take care of it. Don't even worry about that. He sort of looks at you with a grin, as you both know he doesn't pay taxes. Sort of smiles. Next, while we're at sea, we may or may not get boarded by some naval officers of the Royal Navy. My advice is don't speak to them whatsoever. Usually coin will take care of that, unless, and he sort of touches the scars on his face, unless the sirens are with them. But if we see the Valkyrie, coin's not going to do the trick, so I'll have to work. And he sort of like unbuttons the top of his shirt a little bit. I'll have to try to work my magic, for there's still room for more scars on my face.
The captain,
He looks at you. Yes, Eva?
do you run into them often? The sirens.
And he looks over at you. Now, you know his history is he likes to conquer women. And the only women he was unable to conquer are sirens himself. So he sort of looks at you, and you both look at each other with this look like, ugh. He looks back at you. There's a reason why I tend to stay on the ship whenever we dock, and I have run into sirens in the past. Unfortunately, they are particular on who they mate with. Not to be rude, but I think they care for each other, he says to you.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But since you brought this up, and he looks over at Nyx, and he looks back at you, I see we have 2 women aboard. I must tell you now, please, ladies, get used to disappointment. I plan to turn down your advances. I know I'm a very attractive man, and we'll be at sea for quite some time,
I'm
but
gonna look at Nyx. Give her a look.
but just be aware, I'm about to coin while I'm in the ship, so don't be disappointed, but get used to disappointments. I will turn you away, but I'm a generous captain, am I not, Barnacle? I'm a generous captain, and though I will say no to you, I will allow you to use my image in your dreams to pleasure yourself as you sleep.
Oh, thank you.
I like those guys.
You're very welcome. Well, oh, and one last thing. On this ship, nobody keeps secrets on the ferret. Absolutely no one, because trust is everything. And as he says that, it almost goes in slow motion for you, and you swear his eyes glance at you a little longer than everybody else. And he turns around. Do you understand, crew?
Yes, Captain.
I got it.
Yes, Captain.
Yeah.
Okay. It's my Brutus friend. I know this may be a hard concept, but when I speak to you, you reply with, "Are you ready? You need to sit down?"
Please.
Okay, it's Aye, Captain. Let's try that. Are you ready, my brute?
Captain.
You'll get it, my friend. He says, okay, it's time to leave the docks. But before we do that, I want to see what you can do. And he sort of cracks his knuckles. He looks at you, Barnacle. He looks at everyone. Let's prepare to leave. But in doing so, I want to see what you guys can do. Mouse! Go over to the wooden plank and remove it. So, you don't have to physically do it. So, he points over to a plank, and you sort of look around. One of the crewmen sort of gestures towards you, and he points to the ramp where you guys walked up. You're going to need to make an athletic or strength check to first lift it up.
Okay. So, let's see. Athletics. 16.
You reach up and you grab this huge piece of wood and you sort of stagger with it and it's moving and you lift it up and you seem pretty strong at it, but it's all over the place and wobbling. Now comes the dexterity check to slowly bring it to the on board.
Alright.
Hold it tight.
7.
It slips out of your hands, it goes flying. The rest of you see this thing just drop into the harbor and you hear a loud bloop bloop. And you hear it simultaneously slaps on hands on foreheads. Captain Farseeker looks over at Barnacle. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. You told me.
Ah! He looks over. He looks at Nyx. Young lady, can you go and remove the belaying pins from the boat? Now, belaying pins, they look like bowling pins, and what they're used for is you tie a rope around them and they're attached to the docks as well. But they're slippery. So your job is to go over there and to untie them successfully. You have to do 2 successful rolls for the 2 of them.
I'll give it a shot, Captain. What do I roll?
You're going to need to roll intelligence. You see this knot around these 2 pins. You go to the first belaying pin. Got it.
There we go. Okay, so 2 shots, 18 and 17.
Wow. As you sit there with embarrassment, you look over at your sister as she takes out these 2 pins, twirls them around, places them on the ground, and quickly unties rope and lets it go. You guys sort of make eye contact. She absolutely shows you up.
Pretty usual.
Farseeker looks over. Farseeker looks over at you, Proton. Hey, Barnacle, which direction should we turn the sails? This is gonna be a survival. You're gonna have an advantage with this roll. Yep. Wisdom, survival.
That's 20.
Woo!
Before he even finishes his sentence,
Lord Captain.
the wind you see and feel goes north. Both of you, being naval mariners yourselves, immediately pick up on that. He's pretty good. Picked up on the wind direction.
I'm impressed.
That is why he's my second mate. Granted, he doesn't look like this, but he will when he gets older. Yes, Corazon! Good job, Barnacle.
Assistant to the region manager.
Since the wind is coming north, he looks over at you, Cassidin. Sir, I need you to deploy the sails. Show me what you have. Now, this you're going to have an advantage. There's two things you need to do. You have to use some strength to pull the ropes up.
Okay.
Let's start with that. 10 or higher.
19.
Easily. Shh, you've done this a million times. And now you need to tie it off. It's intelligence with advantage. 12 or higher.
That's 7.
That's really with advantage?
Yeah.
Yep.
You start working it, and you actually pause for a second, and you think about the last words Esmeralda has said to you, and you just sit there. Now, Barnacle, or Corazon, you see this other gentleman just standing there, daydreaming, holding the rope. You hear the sound of Farseeker leaning next to you, where his cheek is almost right next to yours, as he's staring over at Cassidin, frozen in time. He's lovesick, isn't he?
Oh, yes.
Cassidin!
Oh.
And you snap out of this.
Captain, I apologize.
A crewman comes over next to you and he sort of looks at you very friendly like, I got this. And the crewman grabs it and starts tying it off. And you're like, oh shit.
I kind of shake my head a little bit.
It's okay.
Get back to reality.
Farseeker glances over at Conrad.
Senor.
Hey, Brute, he says to you.
Hi, sir.
I don't like seagulls, and there are seagulls on the mast, the foremast. And he points up, and you see 2 seagulls that land up on the foremast. Farseeker throws a bag and hits the ground. It sounds like pebbles or rocks are inside this little sack. You go to open it up, and it's filled with walnuts. Make sure you hit those seagulls and let them know nobody lands on the ferret without a ticket. So this is going to be, you have the walnuts, you have to make 2 shots.
Okay. Okay.
One roll at a time.
Okay.
One roll at a
What am I
time.
looking for?
I'll tell you when you go. 12 or higher.
That's an 11.
Whew, you miss. Barely misses. It hits the sides, but that seagull actually shit. What?
That's plus your
I gotta add my dexterity to it?
Yeah?
That's what I said. That's a 13.
You hit. Ah! The seagull hits and flutters off. All you see are feathers. The other seagull's looking around and it's cocking its head.
That's a nat 20.
Woohoo!
Awesome. The bird actually gets hit and falls, and you bloop, falls into the harbor water. Farseeker turns over to you. Barnacle, I like this freakish guy.
Sir, did I do good?
But you did well. You did well.
Thank you, sir.
And lastly, he turns over and he looks over at you, Eva. Young lady, before we set out, we have to make sure we set the fishing net so we can capture fish. Go to the stern and drop the fishing net. Okay, your first thing is, this net it's large and heavy, and if you hold it wrong, it just spills. It's like taking a satin sheet and trying to fold it. So, a dexterity of 12 or higher. With advantage.
Oh my god.
No.
A 4 and a
3.
3.
Okay.
You go to lift this net, and you do, and you feel a feather on the ground at your foot. You sort of slip, and the whole net stumbles to the ground, and you guys see it just spill. It's a
Very
mess.
embarrassed.
Captain Farseeker looks at you with a look almost of disgust and rolls his eyes. He looks back at you, Farseeker. Please pick it up and throw it in the water.
Yes.
All right, now to figure out how to put it together is an intelligent roll. Advantage 10 or higher.
14.
And you do. You start folding it and you lift it up. And as you finally stand up, another crewman, very friendly like, he stands in front of you and he goes, I got this. You'll get used to the ship. Once you do, it'll be second nature. He goes to grab it.
Thanks.
He takes it and he goes to the back of the ship. Farseeker looks over at all of you. Here we go! There's a bell that rings. The seafarer slowly turns toward the great harbor. The wind pushes it forward as the waters start to part, and the docks start moving away as the ambiance goes further and further. And for the first time for a lot of you in a long time, you're going at sea aboard the Seafarers. We're going to take a pause right here and stretch, and we'll go into the next scene. Walter, you can pause about maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Good job. I just want to put all the shit away, except the motion, obviously.
I was testing that guy.